rest from having to do that mess all the time. And why do you get to rest? Because I knew you before your form in your mother's womb. Why do you get to rest from this? Why is the yoke easier? Ain't nothing going to separate you from the love of God. Not powers, not principalities, nothing. Do you know why you get to rest from people challenging who you are? Because I already told you. I've already told you. You are made in my image. You are worthy. You are loved. You are good. You are powerful. You are full of talents and gifts. And you get to rest from all the challenges that tell you you're not. That want you to prove that you're this person. Come on. Rest. That's my yoke. Share it with me. I've already told you. I've already conquered the identity crisis. I've already conquered their ability to say, you don't get to tell me who I am. I don't have to prove a single thing to you about who I am. Jesus is like, my yoke is easy because, well, if you're with me, you're going to know who you are, Madelise. There's going to be no doubt. You're mine. You're beloved. You're powerful, full of talent, beaming with gifts. Your path is already ordered. I am with you every step of the way. There's no if you are Kelvin. There's no if you are Judith. There's no if you are. I am. Y'all, go ahead and take the yoke. Because Jesus already told you who you are. You get to rest from this identity. You get to rest from people telling you to prove you are who you are. Second, you know what this first temptation is like, hey, turn this stone to bread. I'm going to say this. You get to rest from people telling you what you need to eat and what you need to do. Because it ain't even, half the time those recipes ain't right. Half the time what they're offering you and the world is offering you to fill yourself is low on nutrition, low and high in caloric value. The devil is offering a bread that ain't the bread of life. It is a worse substitute. It's a horrible substitute. So you get to rest for folks telling you what can fill you up, but ain't a single part of it what you need. Amen. Y'all, get yourself the bread of life. Y'all, can I tell you that when Jesus says, take my yoke upon you, and there's a couple other things here. I also want to say that in the last temptation, he's like, hey, throw yourself off this mountain so angels can catch you. The irony of throwing yourself off, some of y'all, including you, Fatima, thank you, like to put yourselves in dangerous positions. In the bodies we have, you get to rest from putting yourself in dangerous positions. Funny thing is, after this is all said and done, the angels come to him anyway. All right, so the devil's promising, hey, throw yourself off a cliff so angels can attend. And then in verse 11, angels came to him. And he didn't have to throw himself off no cliff. What I'm telling you is that you get to rest from putting yourself in positions that are dangerous, that are not God ordained, but you're putting yourself in dangerous positions when you've already got angels attending to you. You've already got angels walking before you, around you, and behind you. Why are you taking steps and doing these things? Why are you taking precarious, dangerous, life-threatening things just to see if God can rescue you from it? a break, y'all. Take a break from that. Not that angels won't, but angels are already there. How's the devil going to promise you something you already have? Part of this is resting from things and you already have and you already know. That's the rest. I'm going to move slightly because this was the test, and then Jesus is going to talk about the rest in 11. But right before those verses in chapter 11, I want to say this because sometimes you got to zoom out when you're looking at a text. And right before that, Jesus is talking about all the cities. Now, let me tell you, from chapters 4 to 11, do you know what Jesus is doing from chapters 4 to 11, from the test to the rest? Everything. There's miracle after miracle. Let me just go through it because, Lord have mercy, every chapter Jesus is doing some work. Chapter 4, he calls all his disciples. So the minute this test is over, he calls his disciples. Chapters 5 through 7, the whole Sermon on the Mount. Chapter 8, he does ministry in Galilee. He heals a leper. He goes to Peter's home. He stops a storm. Boy, he was sleeping so tight in the storm. That's how you know Jesus was exhausted. The storm was raging, everybody up and frantic, and they got to wake Jesus up. There's only two types of people who sleep through a storm: newborn parents and Jesus. Those are only people so tired, they don't care what's going on in the boat. I'm getting my Z's. And you're going to have to wake me, and then I'm mad you woke me. I told my husband one time, he woke me up, and he said, hey, there's a tornado coming. I said, is it on our house? He said, well, no, but I said, tell me when it's down the house next to us. Don't wake me up before that. And that man actually woke me up one night because Shakira was singing a song, and he didn't understand it in Spanish and wanted me to translate it. He's like, she looks sad. I said, you know who's sad? Don't be waking up mamas. Don't be waking them up. He does miracle after miracle after miracle. There's Jairus' daughter. In chapter 9, there's a woman with the issue of blood. In chapter 9, there's a blind man. There's a mute. And do you know, by chapter 11, he says, I've done all these miracles, and not a one of these cities are repenting. So can you imagine? He's done a year of miracles and teaching and miracles and miracles and teaching. And right before this rest verse comes up, he's like, ain't nobody changing. I've done all this teaching, all these miracles. And he tells them, every city, I've come to you and you've done nothing with my work. You've done nothing with my miracles. You've done nothing with my teaching. So this is the first year, and Jesus, after the first year, is looking back over what Jesus has done this first year. All these miracles, and still these cities are not repenting. So you can imagine when he gives you the text, take my yoke upon you, I will give you rest. Jesus himself is tired. Been working and miracle after miracle, and still nobody's coming around. You ever feel like the work we doing ain't nothing changing? And Jesus has got still 2 more years. He's already busting out the rest text in year 1. Y'all, let me tell you this. With my sister being in the hospital, and my sister was a chemist going through med school when they found her. Has been a chemist. She's brilliant. In fact, when I was reading to her the letter from Birmingham jail around Martin Luther King Day, I would just read to her. She can't see very well, but her eyes were open those 8 days, and so ulcerations covered her eyes in those 8 days. So I would just read, and I couldn't say the word trivialities in the letter from Birmingham jail. So I said, Triva. She had her eyes closed. She goes, trivialities, Tima. And I'm like, Now you didn't even know the day today, but you can correct me on my pronunciation of the word. One of the most brilliant people I know. And to watch her get frustrated because she doesn't know things. To be frustrated because her body, she says, my body doesn't listen to me. Let me just say this. It has been the heaviest walk I have walked in my life with my mom and family. So when I tell you that when Jesus offers the yoke, I'm saying it's also an invitation for us to us. Let me explain just a little bit and then I'm out of here. Sometimes carrying the weight of seeing my sister every day in the hospital, holding her bin as she vomits blood, being with her as she gets scared, being with my mom who's 76 every day, and we had to tell her to take a break because the nurses and doctors came to us and said, your mother's 76 and she's here every day. Make sure she rests. Let me tell you that the heaviness of this time has been born as a yoke, and others have carried it with us. What if Jesus' offer is also the offering we get to give others too?